lets it off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Hello and welcome to the American Sim Racing Camping World Truck Series. This is round 15 and the final race before the chase, coming to you from Chicagoland Speedway live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Samuel Ryman and with me in the booth is Evan Pasoko. Behind the scenes doing all the button pushing is Kevin Brown and our camera sets are provided by Dougie Beard. The top 10 drivers are locked into the chase, so everyone will just be racing for the win today. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about 29 trucks we have registered for this race. It's going to be crazy here. So we'll get to the point standings in a second. Evan, why don't you run a couple of details about Chicagoland Speedway for us?
Yeah, the Chicagoland Speedway, located in Joliet, Illinois, is another 1.5-mile speedway. One of the unique characteristics about this racetrack is the back straightaway has a little bit of a curve to it. It's not exactly straight. The corners, not the most extreme banking that the 1.5s have. 18 degrees of banking, 11 on that front straightaway, almost like a D-shaped oval, and 5 degrees of banking down the back straightaway. Tonight's race is going to be 110 miles. That's 73 laps.
Yes, and so let's have a quick look at the starting lineup here. We have Jeff Ward, a name that we're not too familiar with, lined up in pole position in the number 89 truck, a whole tenth of a second clear of Dan Murray starting second. Not only a tenth clear of the second fastest qualifying time, a tenth clear of any laps that were run in practice. Jeff Ward has a hot rod tonight. So Dan Murray starting second, Ricky Hardin and Alex Skis third and fourth, Adam Benefiel and Tim Johnson in the third row. Then we have Gary Whitson, Nick Cohan, Tommy Ryan and Aaron Cleanhans rounding out the top 10, Evan.
L. Bryce Whitson Jr., the 00, going to be starting in P11. Alongside him, 12th position, Jared Haggerty. Cody Gibson, 13th position. Michael Koenig in 14th. 15th, Jordan Harness. Jeffrey Gillum in the number 61 machine will start 16th. Adam Blattle, 17th position. Steve Buhala in the 18th spot. Sean Musick, 19th. And Jim Foose going to round out the top 20.
And then rounding out the 29 truck field, of which all 29 will be starting, will be Dan Winter in 21st, Tim Knott 22nd, Alex Bates 23rd, Jason Davis 24th, Clifford Brooker 25th, and Jason Kristen 26th, David Gibson 27th, Benny Ellison 28th, and Carson Orbay did not register a qualifying time, partly because he has been having connection issues and probably doesn't want to cause a ruckus at the start, so he'll be starting from the back in 29th. And that is a big deal, Evan, that we have 29 trucks here, because the last two races at Bristol and at Mosport have had about 16 truck fields. These drivers are going to have to get used to racing with a full field again.
Yeah, there's a lot of trucks, and there's not really a lot of real estate that these drivers are going to have to battle for. So as we get set for the green flag, the field is doubled up behind a pace car, lights off, going into 3. It's going to be interesting to see how they negotiate these first couple of laps. As soon as they get spread out, I think we can see a lot of green flag racing, but they're so densely compact here on these starts.
Yes, and the pace car will be peeling off on the exit of turn 4 here. Now these trucks have a fixed setup, slightly modified, but we've seen it was very loose in qualifying and practice. Turn 4 certainly going to be a trouble spot today. Pace cars off, Jeff Ward on pole in the number 89 blue Yeti truck there. He has control of the field, waiting a little while though, but now he's on the gas and pulling away. Dan Murray is going to be passed by Ricky Hardin probably into turn 1-2 here.
Yeah, the side-by-side battle for second is going to see that number 5 truck of Dan Murray on the outside lane slide back into third. Then fourth place is the number 82, that's Adam Benefiel. Side-by-side behind Tim is the 19 and the 13 over the 5 machine of Dan Murray. Wants second position back. He goes back to the inside of the 98 of Ricky Hardin. He will get that spot. Hardin now has more company. The 82 of Adam Benefiel through and clear. So that 98 of Hardin's actually going to, after going up the second, drop the fourth, and now trouble keeping the pack.
There's one truck spinning, and it is Cody Gibson in the Scooby-Doo machine, number 07. He started 13th, was running in the middle of the pack. I'm going to assume he got loose off of turn 4 and got a piece of the wall, and that is... No, he got contact. He got a little bit of help from the number 35 truck of Michael Koenig.
Yeah, that 07 machine was holding his line, and the 35 machine comes up on the outside lane. Now is at a corner number 4, and Michael Koenig just comes down a little bit. You can clearly see that he hooks him into the fence, and no issue with the 35. 35 doesn't even get sideways, doesn't get any damage. He drives on away, and not the case for Cody Gibson. His machine is absolutely torn up. As we go quickly to the yellow flag, almost a strange incident there. Didn't really see a big bobble from the 35 out of the corner, like he got loose and, you know, kind of drifted down into him. It looks like maybe he just misjudged, tried to pull him behind him, or he really didn't even see him there, but kind of a strange incident to get it kicked off.
Yeah, so the first caution is out just after a lap here, but until then it had been a rather clean start. There hadn't been any contact throughout the field. A bit of rearrangement, obviously, back in the pack. The field had gotten spread out, but right now pit road should be open. Obviously, you're going to see the leaders stay out. They will be required, everyone will be required to make at least one pit stop during the race because of a restricted size fuel tank here. And Adam Blattel, starting 17th, is the leader of the trucks bringing them down pit road here on lap 3.
Yeah, so a couple trucks and that back half of the field coming down, not really a major advantage that they're going to gain. Again, they only would have put down about 1 lap until that incident happened at a corner number 4. But this is what you predicted, Sam, before the race, that we'll see a couple yellows, and this is typically how the races go. You'll see a couple yellows at the start. Everybody tries to get sorted out. There are a lot of new faces this week. You touched on the size of the field. 29 trucks took the green flag. Jim Foose pointed out in the driver's interview and the driver's meeting rather before the race that there's a lot of new faces around, so you kind of got to adjust and be able to get spaced out so you can learn how these new faces run, because when you're running with somebody that you drive with week in and week out, you know their style. When you come in here with a new face, you kind of got to figure out how their driving style is. So that's what these first few laps are going to be, is they're going to kind of try to feel each other out, see who does what, and then that middle portion of the race, I think, again, the race is 73 laps. So that's a fair distance, but it's not overly long. But these guys just trying to feel it out here. Once they get going, I think they'll be able to get to a little bit of a rhythm.
Yeah, I was surprised there was actually 2 of our more experienced drivers that got involved in the incident. And more proportion now, those being Cody Gibson and Michael Koenig, of course. I think Cody will be able to continue in that 07 machine. He's just getting off pit road now, so he won't lead a lap, he won't lose a lap to the pace car. Now let's talk about this race. Next round next week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, as the lights go off on the pace car, will be the first round of a, I believe it's an 8-race chase for this series, and it's done in the old chase format. Basically, the points are reset and you're racing for the most points at the end of the season. Now those 10 drivers that are in the chase are Gary Whitson, Bryce Whitson, Tim Johnston, Jason Kristen, Nick Cohan, Alex Bates, Jim Foose, David Gibson, Aaron Kleinhans, and Dan Winter. Whatever happens, even if a guy in 11th in the points wins the race and none of these top 10 finish, those are the top 10 drivers in the chase. So at the end of the day, Evan, everyone here today is racing for the win.
And that's kind of the same approach that they're going to take once we get to the chase. So this is kind of an appetizer for what we're going to see here later on in the season, but you mentioned it. Those guys are all essentially locked into this chase, and they're going for it. They're going to be trying to go for that trophy here. Jeff Ford has the best shot of it right now as he sits out front. Still a lot of racing to go as we get set for our first restart.
Yeah, and I'm looking. I don't think the top 5 drivers in the race are in our chase right now. I think you have to go back to Gary Whitson in 6th before you get chase driver. Anyhow, the pace car is off yet again. Jeff Ward has control of the field yet again. This time he goes a bit earlier than he did last time, and he's going to leave the field behind him. Battles on for second between Dan Murray and Adam Benefield, Evan.
Yeah, Murray on the outside. The most we've got in Chevrolet of Adam Benefield down on the bottom. He's going to get that spot. Can a 5 of Murray slide down? No, he tried to get down in line, got real sideways. He has to chase it up the hill, keep it out of the fence, but he's going to lose 4, 5, now 6 positions as more machines continue to pass him. Now the 00 of L. Bryce Woodson Jr. gets by, so he'll slide back from top 2 back to about P10.
Yeah, fortunately there was a gap there for him and the truck that slowed behind him to fall into. Meanwhile, Jeff Ward leads lap 7. Lap 6 rather. Adam Benefiel in second. Ricky Harding, Gary Whitson and Tim Johnson round out the top 5. Tim Johnson trying to make a pass on Alex Guys and slides up a little bit. That's not going to work. Meanwhile, Nick Cohan sitting there in 7th, waiting to take advantage.
Yeah, the 19 machine is able to get clear, so they single file out for a moment. First side-by-side battle is going to be for P8, the 00 of L. Bryce Whitson Jr. on the bottom, the 5 of Dan Murray up top. Inside lane is arguably the preferred lane, but the 5 of Dan Murray doing a solid job off of corner number 4. He'll have that at the stripe. Can he clear the 00 is the question down into 1. Don't think he'll get it. The 00 of Whitson's going to throw it down in there. Does he have anything for Dan Murray? He'll bring it back to a door-to-door battle, and they're also side-by-side right behind him coming off of 2.
As we continue to watch this, I'll let you know that Tim Johnson's pass attempt on Alex Guys did not work. Alex is still in 5th, but we continue to watch this Noah's Ark formation through turns 3 and 4. 2 by 2 by 2, 3 ways deep, and 3 rows deep rather, and off goes the number 85 truck of Aaron Cleanhans, but he's able to save it, stop it from going in the grass, but he does lose that position as L. Bryce Whitson and Dan Murray continue to run side by side.
I think these guys are running closer right now as the 16 does not get to get a run off the corner. They were closer there than I think many of the guys were on the warm-up lap or the pace laps. They were too wide, about 3 rows deep, right on each other's door, running such similar lines as a fixed setup, so you can really only drive the race truck one way, so everyone's going to be taking relatively the same line. And a 4 is the 5 machine. Try to work the high side, the 00 still on the bottom, and again, once again, go side by side behind, down to 57 of Jared Haggerty up top, and 51 of Jordan Harnish on the bottom. That's like a 6-truck pack, I think, separated by about half a second. They continue to do battle.
Yeah, and I think there may have been damage, contact between Bryce Whitson and Jared Haggerty. Talk about Bryce Whitson real briefly. Within the past couple of weeks since our last race, he has actually fractured his right arm in the cycling incident. He's able to drive with both arms, but obviously a lot more pressure coming from the left arm. Meanwhile, look at Aaron Cleanhans in the number 85 truck. Initially, I thought he was making mistakes going down there on the apron, but that seems to be his racing line, and it's working for him. He's making up spots, and that's Jared Haggerty getting loose out of 2, and he just lost a bunch of spots, and he's losing more.
Something wrong with Jared Haggerty coming over the radio and letting everybody know he's up high against the fence and only continues to lose speed. He's going to come down pit road, so trouble for the 57 of Jared Haggerty. Nearly bit Cleanhans. You were talking about he had to take that big wide arc off of 2, and there was a slow machine right up there, and they nearly made contact. 85 really couldn't do much but to stay in the gas and hope that he was able to have enough room between him and that other truck. They were able to do so, so Cleanhans remains P11. That could have been a lot worse. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, we've kind of broken off into a bunch of sets of 2, and not kind of tandem style at a super speedway, but Benefiel and Ward are all by themselves first and second.
Yeah.
Whitson and Hardin kind of third and fourth, so the field's really spreading out up front.
Yeah, and that's actually a change. Adam Benefiel got by Jeff Ward a couple of laps ago. He had been following him on his tailgate, but Ward not letting him go, so I have a feeling the draft may be coming into effect here. Neither of his drivers in the chase. They're both racing for the win, and they have 60 laps left and 1 pit stop to sort it out between them. But as you say, Evan, the field beginning to get single file. Still a lot of packs, though. In fact, there's one right about 20th place. Alex Bates, Benny Ellison, Cody Gibson, the damage number 07 machine, Jason Crystal and David Gibson all in one large pack. They're giving each other plenty of room, but still plenty of action throughout the field.
First battle is going to be for P7. Alex Geis on the high side, Dan Murray on the bottom. Murray is the challenger, trying to go from 8th to 7th. He has the inside lane down the back straightaway and going down into corner number 3. That battle right in front, the 00 of L. Bryce Whitson Jr., who you talked about earlier, and they're going to continue to do battle off the corner. The 5 gets clear, and now Whitson going to go to the bottoms. The 19 of Geis is going the wrong way. Alex, interested enough to start at 4th, so his machine is going the wrong direction. They single file out in a side-by-side battle just behind them. Jordan Harnish is able to get clear of Cleanhans through 1 and 2.
Naturally, Alex has a lot of damage on the right-hand side of his truck. There's no free repair on the ASRS, so maybe that might be what's slowing him up. Yeah, just look at that. He's losing the position to Jordan Harnish. He'll probably soon lose the position to Aaron Cleanhans. Aaron still using all the track and all the apron. And Jordan Harnish is the driver who sits 11th in the points. Unfortunately, he's missed a few rounds and is too far out of the top 10 in points to get into the race. Had he been back 1 week earlier, he probably could have made it.
Yeah, that 19 truck caught the fence at a corner number 4 on lap E, which gave him that right side damage. It wasn't a major hit, but it is evidently what caused the right hand damage to the passenger side of his machine. Also, Ricky Harden has a little bit of right side damage as he rides around P4, nearly identical to the damage on the 19 truck.
Yeah, Ricky Harden actually is holding off a 2-truck challenge by Tim Johnston, who's actually looking underneath him for 4th place here, and Nick Cohan. And you see the trucks keep disappearing in and out. That is an issue. If they lose the connection completely, they will be out of the race. And Tim Johnston, though, trying to dispose of Ricky Harden and not worry about him anymore. He just can't get that run off the exit of the turn. Maybe he'll get a bit of a bump job from Nick Cohan here. No, Nick's not going to bump him, but Tim doesn't need it anyway. Tim's cleared Ricky Harden, and in fact, Nick cleared Ricky Harden almost. So Ricky is certainly beginning to fall back a bit.
Yeah, Ricky's having those issues there, blinking in and out of the sim. So you can see the draft at the 21 is working up behind Tim Johnston into number 38 because he was able to close into the bumper there down the front straightaway, let off, and will actually get clear of Ricky Harden. So Harden last time by was 4th. This time by will drop to P6. So he is sliding backwards, obviously being a little bit hindered by those connection issues that he is having. Meanwhile, up front, it is still pretty much a half a truck length lead that Benefield has over Jeff Ward. Ward has a great run at it too, but I think he realizes he doesn't have the faster truck because he just kind of backs down and stays in second.
And they're coming up on Carson Orbay, who just had a lawnmowing excursion down in turns 3 and 4, so he's going to go a lap down in that Autism Speaks truck and safely pulls onto the apron and out of the way of the leaders. But yeah, Jeff Ward just finding his time there in second, and Gabby Whitson about 1.5 seconds back in third. And now look at this, Carson Orbay, the lap track, almost got in the way of about a 4th there, was able to get up and actually into the wall. And look at this, the truck's behind him, almost contact from Dan Murray. That's going to send Carson Orbay sideways, but I don't think it's going to bring the caution out.
Yeah, he comes over and apologizes. That was not pretty down the back straightaway. He has rear end damage. He is in the grass down to the left-hand side of the racing surface on the back straightaway, but no caution. They stay green up at the front of the field, and we're going to go side by side for the number 1 spot. The 89 of Jeff Ward to the bottom, the 82 of Benefield playing defense up top. They're going to be door-to-door down the back straightaway.
I'm surprised how there he goes. I was surprised that the Benefield was fighting so hard. But I'll tell you what, I'm even more surprised by that Dan Murray's truck is still running okay after almost basically nailing that Carson Orbay's truck. He is in 7th place in the number 5, and there goes Evan Clean. He goes through the grass, but he might be able to save it again.
Turn 4 is not a friendly place at this racetrack. He was up against the fence, got sideways, took another off-road excursion, we'll call it, the front straightaway grass. He will now try to blend back up. He has to wait until the exit of turn 2 and down the back straightaway before he is allowed to get back up on the racing surface. He will do so, but now obviously that's going to cost him a lot of positions. He'll drop up second.
Yeah, he's dropping even further back, so now he's going to have to play a strategy card or two, which unfortunately that's going to be really hard for him to do, Evan, because I have a feeling that before we came out of this period, there's really no choice about it. You've got to take 4 tires.
Side by side for position 7. It seems like Dan Murray just can't find some clean air. He was side by side with the 00, and now L. Bryce Whitson Jr. drops back a little bit, so it's going to be the 16 of Tommy Ryan on the outside. That will be side by side for P8. And the 16, wow, that Buffalo Wild Wings machine went right up to the fence, and the 00 is going to lose the spot, so Tommy Ryan picks up another position.
Meanwhile, Carson Orbay is not yet for that damage, and he's about to go a second lap down to the leaders, but he pulls out of the way, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. So we keep an eye on this battle for 7th here with Dan Murray in front of Tommy Rice, Bryce Whitson, and Jordan Harnish round up the top 10. Adam Blattel and Jeffrey Gilliam right behind them in 11th and 12th.
The 00 of L. Bryce Whitson Jr. just tried to come down pit road. He came over the radio and said he was going to be entering the pits, and he got run over by a machine behind him. Looks like it was the 51 of Jordan Harnish, and he has some words for him over the radio. That's really going to hurt that 00 because he has to go all the way back around before he can get to pit road.
Yeah, Jordan Harnish has a lot of damage on the front of that carbon truck, and we watch it right here. Bryce Whitson basically, I don't know if he realised he had a problem. It almost looked like he committed a bit too late. The only way I could excuse that is if he was on the radio down the backstretch. But yeah, pit stops are starting. These guys obviously think it's going to go green to the anchors. Gary Whitson is in the pits, as is Bryce Whitson and Jason Davis running 23rd.
So right now, race leader Jeff Ward working lap 26 of 73. So the now Adam Benefield is going to come in. The 82 Monster Energy Chevrolet from P2 is going to come down for service. So keeping an eye on when these guys pit and how much is left in the race. Past the 1/3 mark, but not quite halfway.
Jordan Harnish coming in with that front end damage. It took him 2 laps. I can't imagine. I should imagine that truck's gotta be overheating a little bit with all that damage on the front of it. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, this is a big strategy play here by Adam Benefield. This may be able to make him leapfrog Jeff Ward once pit stops are all said and done. And we'll find out within a couple of laps because Jeff Ward is now down pit road.
Yeah, Jeff Ward comes down for his service, which is Tim Johnston in the number 1 position. And that's actually going to make it a half a truck length battle for P1 and 2 as Nick Cohan, who rides in the number 2 position, is up on the back bumper of Tim Johnston. We'll see what strategy pays out. If hitting 1 lap earlier on Benefield's end will help him. We'll have to wait until they cycle through to get an update on that. But Tim Johnston does not come down this time by. The 38 Chevrolet is going to stay out on racetrack and put a couple laps lead in his pocket here, keeping in mind that he was not one of those cars, or those trucks rather, that came down pit road earlier in the race. So Tim Johnston yet to hit pit road.
Oh, Jeff Ward gets loose on the apron, but he's able to catch it. Meanwhile, Adam Benefield is coming through turns 1 and 2 right now. Jeff Ward still struggling to get up to grips, but I have a feeling he might be able to beat Adam off of pit road here.
There's a big group of cars around 11th position again as this all cycles through. Dan Murray's going to come down pit road from position number 5. Key Harden will assume race lead because Tim Johnston and Nick Cohan have come down pit road. Those were the 2 machines that were riding at the time. Bumper to bumper, a lot more machines in. Jeffrey Gilliam, a lot of other machines that are clean Hans, including those that come down pit road.
And as we watch this battle, Benny Ellison in 9th, Steve Buhala in the light blue truck is in 10th. Alex Guys in the Mountain Dew number 19 machine is pulling to the apron and slowing down. So I have a feeling he's going to commit himself to pit road, although he's losing a lot of time by making that commitment that early. But we'll continue to watch as this battle obviously will be thinned out a little bit with all the trucks coming into the pits. And you see right now, pit road is a very busy place. That's because these drivers think the race will go green to the end. Obviously, the drivers who stay out and do not pit until about lap 40 or so are hoping that there will be a caution. Meanwhile, Ricky Harden bringing it down pit road and Tommy Ryan. So it looks like everyone is playing this short pit strategy card, Evan.
Tell you that 104 of Adam Blattle, who was sitting in 3rd, made a real aggressive drive on entry and didn't commit, as you said, very early. He really drove it in there hard and just got it down to 45 miles an hour before the commitment code. So he could be set to pick up some time. Jim Foose, who is currently our race leader, the Menard Chevrolet down the back straightaway in lap 32. He's going to come over the radio and let the drivers know that he will be entering pit road this time on.
And there's a spin down Windhoven, turns 1 and 2. He comes back out on the circuit. That was a 42 of Buhala, and they're still trying to save it. Buhala's going to slide up the track. This may bring the caution out. That's David Green in light blue truck who avoids him. It does bring the caution out. Steve Buhala was running in the top 5 when that happened, had yet to pit, and that's because he was spun by the number 5 truck of Dan Murray.
Yeah, and another machine got some damage from that. The 00 was an innocent victim of that, but a 5 of Dan Murray coming over the radio and he will take responsibility for that incident, but they were just coming up so quickly on that machine in front of them. The 42 of Buhala had not just come out of pit road, just lost some speed on the outside lane. And I mean, the 5 machine maybe kind of got trapped like a deer in the headlights, because it looked like the 42 kind of pulled down to the middle just a little bit, and really nowhere to go was that 5 machine. So Dan Murray does take responsibility for that. That kind of breaks up that green flag run that many of these drivers were anticipating to carry out to the end, because at the halfway point here, in about 2-3 laps, we will be under caution flag conditions.
Yeah, and it's going to take a bit of sorting out to get this figured out. Can tell you was we got Sean Music, who was actually one of the leaders of the race, spinning in the grass right now. I don't quite know what happened there. The number 24 truck of Sean Music, as they were coming up to catch a pace car, did he just get on the brakes too hard? No, he got a bit of contact from behind. They were basically all trying to get in line, so he might lose a couple of spots from that. Not too much damage though. But yeah, this is going to take some sorting out, because some of the trucks who pit are still on the lead lap, some aren't, and some drivers such as Dan Winter are on pit road right now because of just because of the way he stayed out. He never pit, so he was in the lead. So he should still have good track position. A good strategy here by Dan Winter, thinking that the caution wasn't going to come out. And I believe we may be going to a break. Hello and welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway, where it's been a little confusing. Right before we went to break, we saw Sean Music spinning in the grass under caution. That's because he ran out of gas. He was not the only driver that have issues under caution. Carson Orbay got in the wall, but meanwhile our leader race now is Dan Winter, who was the leader of the cars who had not pitted at the time. He has control of the field, but Jeff Ward is right alongside him in second. Jeff has had the fastest truck all day. There's quite a few damaged trucks at the back of the field, a couple of trucks out of the race, and Jeff Ward has got a nice round on Dan Winter heading into turn 1 there.
Yeah, side by side for first and side by side for third. Look at that outside lane. The 81 wiggles, can't get any grip, and Jeff Ward through and clear by a lot. At a turn number 2, the 21 machine will get second. And now everybody is just trying to find a way around that 81 of Dan Winter.
Yeah, Nick Cohan followed him through. Tim Johnson now on the inside line of Dan Winter. He will move up into third position. And then we have, look at this, Gary Whitson in number 13. It is Bryce Whitson who actually looks like he's out of the race. Gary Whitson moves up to fourth. And now lined up to take fifth is Adam Benefield, who was racing for the lead earlier but has a bit of work to do now, Evan.
He's not afraid to make some aggressive moves. He's going to get up behind a 13 of Gary Whitson. That'll be for P5. So if he wants P4, he'll have to make a move on Whitson to the bottom on the apron.
3 wide behind him, and there was contact between
2 sets
Jim
of 3
Booth
wide.
and Adam Blattow. And the number 104 truck gets loose on the apron, but doesn't come back up on the circuit. So we remain green. The number 104 truck, though, just lost a bunch of spots.
One truck in the grass on the front straightaway, parked and not moving, and is now disconnected. Trying to get a number on that machine that was parked on the front straightaway grass.
Yeah, I know it was exactly out of race in the number 25 truck, but that wasn't the truck that was parked on the grass right there. But yeah, wow, this is wild, right around 10th place right now. These trucks have about 30 laps left to go. They're all trying to get the track position, because remember, as we said at the start of the broadcast, they are all racing for the win. And right now, Dan Murray has just taken 6th place from Dan Winter, who has fallen from 1st to back into 7th right now. And Jim Booth may soon be looking on him for that position.
Adam Benefield continues his charge towards the front of the field. He's gone to the bottom through and by the 13 of Gary Whitson, so give him P4, and he's got a great run on Tim Johnston. Johnston's going to have the high line down into 1. The 82 sticks a nose in there. He'll make it side by side as they enter turns 1 and 2. That's going to be the battle for P3. Expect Benefield to get this one. He goes to the apron. He'll slide up. He'll get contact. The 13 gets into the back bumper. No harm, no foul for the moment. They'll keep him pointed the right direction. And actually, that 82 is going to keep applying the pressure down into 3.
Yeah, meanwhile, no battle for the lead yet up front between Jeff Ward and Nick
trouble
Cohan.
in turn 3.
And it's Cody Gibson and Adam Blato. And now remember,
Cody
Adam,
Gibson again.
Yeah, Adam was running, and actually Adam got loose heading into turn 3, it looks like, and Adam just got such a run on him. No, sorry, Adam was in the wall, and Cody just got such a run on him that he just didn't have time to avoid Adam.
Yeah, that 104 machine got in the wall and was so slow that by the time the 07 came through there down into corner number 3, Cody Gibson was side by side himself with Benny Ellison, so was kind of stuck there, and he was hoping, and looks like the that machine came down. The 104 Blato kind of came down all at once.
Look at this, all the leaders are pitting, and I'm going to guess this is because they can make it to the end on fuel.
We'll have to see if everybody comes in, or do we see somebody stay out. Take a look, the 61 machine. It looks like all the leaders are going to come down for service, and that appears that is going to be the case. So it'll be a race off of pit road. Jeff Ward, the first one to bring him in. Going to have to see what he does tire-wise. He'll pull down into the number 1 pit stall, which gives him a very big advantage on leaving pit road, obviously, for qualifying on pole. Has the shortest distance to go to where that scoring sloop is there by the green cones that dictate the running order at a pit road. But 4 tires looks like no challenge for that number 1 spot. The 21 gave a run at it at the end, but was about 1.5 truck lengths off. Jeff Ward will lead them off to the pit lane.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in the top 10 remains where they came in. I also see, though, one driver still in his pit stall is the number 16 truck of Tommy Ryan, who was running on the lead lap. I don't quite know what happened to him, but he has a lot of damage on that Northern Tools number 16 Chevrolet.
Yeah, and he sits down on pit road. Appears that he's going to be getting some service done to his truck. He's had that damage for a little while, and we were making those other set of green flag stops, obviously under green flag conditions. So he'll take this opportunity now under the yellow to stay down and get as much of that optional repair done as he can, so that he'll have the most competitive truck possible moving forward. But pretty much when you have that amount of damage, you can pretty much count your shots at the win, pretty much throw those out the window, but he'll still be able to rally here and maybe put up a solid finish.
Gibson, I have a feeling he's going to get a speeding penalty, but I have a feeling he doesn't care. He was going, let's see what the timing says. He was going about 111 miles an hour at Topstown Pit Road, so he was just in a hurry to get to his pit stall and get as much repairs as possible. That number 07 truck has a lot of damage on it.
Yeah, and he actually completely missed his stall also, so he drove through and actually had to escape out and take a tow. So the tow will give you a time penalty till you can actually get back and do service to your race truck as if you were getting a tow around the track. And because he was right at the end of pit road, that's going to be almost the longest tow time possible, because it's going to replicate how much it would take you to go from basically turn 1 all the way around to turn 4. So Cody Gibson, tough break there. Not sure what he was thinking, what the strategy behind that one was, but it's going to bite him. He'll lose at least a few laps if he even stays in the race after that one.
Yeah, he had a lot of damage to his truck, so I have a feeling we won't be seeing a whole much more from him. But yeah, so certainly just a bit of eye candy there for us, watching him go down pit road at about 100 miles an hour. So right now, with wave arounds, we have 19 trucks on the lead lap, but we also have a lot of trucks right behind the pace car, 1 lap down, about to get the wave around again. So obviously this caution is a blessing to those who took a wave around last time round, Evan, because now they're able to pit and stay on the lead lap with new tyres. But unfortunately, I have a feeling that this isn't going to be the last caution we're going to see this race.
Now we're inside of the 30 lap to go mark, and the way these races typically go is you'll see a couple of yellows at the start of it, see a nice green flag run in the middle, and then when you get to the end, especially with the circumstances that you talked about where they're all just going for that W as the lights are off at a pace car, we get set to go back green next time at a 4. It's going to get pretty wild up front. These race trucks are loose. We've seen 3 wide in the early stages. Imagine how crazy they're going to get when it comes down to the checkered flag portion. They're good on fuel. They maybe have to work with the tires that they have from now on out to get to that checkered flag. Maybe if we see a yellow, maybe in 15 laps, you'll see a couple of takers, which could throw another curveball into this. But right now, Jeff Ward just needs to get out front as far as he can, because Adam Benefield, the 82 machine, was able to close in like 5 spots in that limited last green flag run. He'll restart third as the pace car gets set to hit pit road.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lap times. There's not a whole lot of drop-off between new and old tyres. I'm going to assume the reason you saw everyone took 4 tyres under last caution is because they know they've still got 30 laps of what could be green flag racing. Jeff Ward has control of the field. Nick Cohan on the outside. Jeff Ward gets a good restart though. Nick Cohan is going to have to defend Adam Benefield for second. Look at this. Adam was about 5th place in the last quarter. He makes it second, and we know he has the pace to match, if not even pass, Jeff Ward for this win.
His roll speed dynamic Chevrolet to the bottom. A bobble from the 20 to Nick Cohan, got sideways, had to walk it up the hill to hang on to it. That's going to move Adam Benefield to P2. Now the 13 machine, Gary Whitson, restarted 5th. He wants 3rd. He'll go door to door with the 21 to Cohan through 3 and 4. Does he clear him? Yes, he does. The Sunoco Chevrolet to P3.
Yeah, so you're beginning to see what lane everyone wants for the restarts, and Tim Johnson not ready to give up on Nick Cohan, who is an experienced driver with this league, but has had a history of a bit of confrontation. We're not always going to say it's his fault, we're just going to say he has a bit of history, but meanwhile doesn't have to battle Tim Johnston, because Tim got loose there in turns 1 and 2, and he is dropping back like a rock. He's just falling out the top 5, and now he's got Barrett Haggerty closing in on him for 6th.
The advantage that Jeff Ward had last time was that by the time they got clear, or we're no longer double file from second on back. He was able to open up a second lead this time. Benefield made quick work of the BG machine, and he has closed it in from 3/10 to 2 the last time by the start-finish line. Adam Benefield sitting about 3-4 truck lengths off that blue Monster Energy Chevrolet of Ward up front. I have a feeling we're going to be side by side for that lead here pretty soon because Benefield closing that gap.
Meanwhile, to give you an update, Cody Gibson has retired from the race and we have 17 trucks on the lead lap. Ricky Hardin is the last of those, probably on old tyres, so he's probably going to be wanting a caution. And I'll tell you what, the drivers about 15th on back are running side by side. That may be where our next caution comes up. Meanwhile, we'll keep an eye on this battle for the lead because Adam Benefield is right there with Jeff Ward, and he knows that the inside line is the desired line for the restart. You do not want to get called out restarting second, and so he is going to be attempting to make a move on Jeff Ward as quickly as possible, I would assume, Evan.
Yeah, if he wastes time battling side by side, then they're both going to be running slower lap times. And when you do that, you're going to be allowing the trucks third on back close in. Gary Whitson is not gaining, he's not losing, really. He's balanced out at about 5/10 of a second or half a second back from that lead battle. But Benefield also has the advantage of a draft, so he has the run to go to the inside. He'll stick a nose down there. He does, side by side, fourth at number 1 spot. Keep it in mind, Jeff Ward, once he drops back to second, if the 82 can clear him, will then himself have the benefit of the draft. So these guys could swap positions for a little while. Benefield's going to go down nearly to the grass. Can he clear him? He slides up in front, not quite. The 89 Award stays there on the outside lane, not enough to continue to be side by side. He'll drop down in line. And Adam Benefield going to go to the point, but now here comes the 89 back at him. Now it's going to be Jeff Ward using that draft down the back.
Yeah, and he's going to quickly look underneath Adam Benefield first. I'll tell you what, Jeff Ward did not give up that lead as quickly as he should have. I have a feeling as soon as you're on the outside, you've got to give it up, otherwise those drivers in third will try and run you down. But really, the best way for Jeff to try and take the lead is just run behind Adam Benefield a couple of laps, get a bit of a distance from Gary Whitson again, and then challenge for that position. But I'll tell you what, in reality, Evan, Adam's beginning to run away from Jeff a little bit.
Yeah, even with that draft, Benefield opening up about a 2.5, 3 truck length advantage. That battle for the lead, although it only lasted about less than a lap, did allow Gary Whitson to close in. Again, he was half a second off. It's 3/10. The last time by, I have a feeling that may shrink even more. This time by the start-finish line, it is still going to be 3/10. He's able to knock 2 100ths off the time. But now all of a sudden, Jeff Ward right back up there, about 2 truck lengths on the back corner of Benefield. Whitson, you can pretty much call it a 3-truck battle for the lead. Nick Cohan is only 6/10 of a second back in fourth, but these top 3 trucks are only separated by about 3/10 and a few car lengths now as they remain and now evenly spread out. 2 trucks separate the top 3 apiece.
And let's remember, the only one of those in the chase is Gary Whitson in third, so he is definitely going to want to win because that will mean bonus points in the chase. Well, I was watching the battle for 13th there a little while ago with Michael Koenig, Benny Ellison, they're right behind Dan Winter running in 12th place, and they're right behind a bunch of lap trucks, Adam Blattel and Alex Guy. So it really is a bit of congestion in turns 1 and 2 right now with this large pack. Some of these trucks having damage, and Dan Winter actually blinking. I think he may have lost the connection. I'm not quite sure. He may have came back. Yeah, Dan Winter, we believe, has lost the connection, and that's essentially iRacing's version of a mechanical failure. So a lot of action going on back there, but we'll return back up to the front of the field now, where these drivers are not letting go of each other.
He was the lead lap truck, and all of a sudden just started to lose connection. He is not disconnected from the sim yet, but he has blinked out. So Dan Winter, tough break for the 81. We're going to go side by side for the lead. Benefield on the outside. Oh, the 89 Award nearly got him in the left rear, but Benefield good at the stripe.
Yeah, Ward taking that Greenland's line for the first time this race, really, or at least the first time during this stint. And I can tell you, Jason Davis, who was a lap down, has actually retired from the race. Don't know about that. But for the first time, we see Adam Benefield on the high line, actually with a good run there. Able to hold off Jeff Ward on the low line. And let's see what Jeff can do this time around.
Yeah, again, Jeff's been running around in second, so he's going to have the advantage of that track. He'll stick the nose out to the bottom. Does he make it side by side? Yes, he does. So we're going to be door to door. This 89 slides up a little bit. Can't quite get to the gas as much as Adam Benefield can. So Benefield's going to clear him off of corner number 2. And the 89 tucks back in line for a moment. Count out that 13 of Gary Witz. And again, if we see these top 2 guys who have had a couple of close calls, I mean, look, they're getting those left side tires right down onto that apron. It's real easy to get loose off of 4. This could play right into the hands of Gary Whitson. Whitson may be able to kind of ride around behind these guys, use that draft, save up his stuff a little bit, and if this thing goes green, may have more tires to put up a shot for it at the end.
15 laps left to go. Last time around when they crossed the line, remember there are no green-white checkers on iRacing, so you're in second with 5 laps to go and the caution comes out. Well, sorry, that's a game over for you. So really, these 2 drivers have got to be thinking about this as a 10-lap race right now. And Adam Benefield slides up a little bit out of turn 4. Jeff Ward's going to take his opportunity and go down low.
And caution!
Wow, and Jeff may have had it if that hadn't came out. And it's Sean Music pointing backwards in the number 24 truck. And there was that deliberate by the number 3 truck? I'm trying to watch a replay. Maybe the number 3 lost control and clipped him.
Looks like it was the 24 that hit the 3 machine. Sean Music driving into the 3 and trying to take a look back at the last few laps to see if they had any sort of conflict, but it looks like they were racing each other pretty clean, but that could have just easily been one of those misjudging moments. But trying to take a look at the onboard, looks like they kind of drifted into each other a little bit, but nonetheless that is going to bring our leaders down pit road here for a final stop. Do we see anybody stay out towards the tail end of the lead lap? Looks like the 61 truck did not pit that time behind.
Yeah, and I see a few drivers saying that this caution may actually help them make it to the end on field. They may need another caution or 2 for that to be the case. But anyhow, Adam Benefield led Jeff Ward into the pits. Let's see who leads them coming out of the pits. But really, we're not going to know until they grid up for the restart who's going to be restarting on the inside line. And that's really is what's going to be key. And who's that coming out in front of all of them? That's Tim Johnston. Did he take 2 tires?
It is going to be a right side only call for Tim Johnston. The number 38 machine is going to be the first one off of pit road. He'll be sitting on 2 tires. Everybody from him on back is going to be on 4. Lead lap cars that stayed out are going to include 2 of them. The 21 of Nick Cohan did not pit, along with the 61 of Jeffrey Gilliam. Now, they could easily come down pit road this time, but if they stay out, that's going to make things very interesting, because we have seen machines stay out earlier in the race and pretty much drop like rocks. So don't really think that's the best strategy, and it appears as they continue to pace up behind the pace car that Cohan is going to stay out. Those guys are going to hang out up front and maybe hope that they can ride a couple of cautions here and steal this victory.
Yeah, so let's talk about, let's provide a little bit more analysis into this. This is really good for Tim Johnston. He gets to restart third on the inside line because only 2 cars stayed out. He's got 2 tires, but that's better than no tires. So I have a feeling Tim may still have a shot at winning this race, especially if there's a caution or 2. Nick Cohan is a top 5 runner who has control of the field and is going to be restarting on the inside line. So I have a feeling he's in the same boat. If there's a couple of cautions, he may be able to stay up there. Remember, those are both chase contenders that are just racing for the win and those extra bonus points. The one I'm interested in is Jeffrey Gilliam. He's been running about between 10th and 15th position all day, and I have a feeling on those old tyres, like you say, Evan, the faster drivers behind him may just want to keep an eye on that round number 61 truck.
Gotta love strategy. You're gonna have 2 trucks with no tires, 1 truck with 2, and the rest of the field with 4 fresh tires. And that's gonna make things very interesting. The strategy you have to think that Nick Cohan and Jeff Gilliam are gonna be playing is that you mentioned once we get to about 5-4 to go, a caution flies at that point. This race is over. There are no additional laps, no green-white checkers in the iRacing service. So that would end the race. This race is 73 laps, no more, no less. So Cohan and Gilliam, and we have seen especially on the first lap of the race, we saw a caution before they did complete the lap. So the 21 and the 61 are going to be hoping that they can ride out a couple of yellows and maybe improve, if not try to get to victory lane on the positions that they were running before that. So Tim Johnston, who was on the 2 tires, he'll be on the inside of that number 2 row. So if he's able to get a good jump and go with Cohan, which typically 3rd place gets a better start than 2nd a lot of the time because he'll be behind the race leader, this could play into Tim Johnston's view over the 89. And Jeff Ward has been so fast all night long. He'll be the outside of row 2, and then the ever so fast 82 of Adam Benefield is going to be inside row 3 in the number 5 spot. So this could go either way. It's going to depend on those guys mid-pack if we stay green and what's going to play out. But I can tell you, if we get a couple laps in, it's going to be ugly getting around those 2 slower trucks up at the front of the field.
Pace lights are off. There will be 10 laps left to go when they cross the line this time by. That means this race could be over in 2 cautions time, maybe with a 1-lap shootout at the end. Who knows? Cohan, as we say, in the number 21 white truck on the bottom. He is going to be your leader to the green. He is on old tyres, as is Jeffrey Gilliam in the brown truck, the number 61 truck on the outside. Tim Johnston in 3rd place has been about top 5 runner all night. He is on 2 tyres. Jeff Ward and Adam Benefield have been the front runners all night long. They're restarting 4th and 5th. Jeff Ward is probably going to try and get down to that low line as quick as possible, or will he try and make it 3 wide through the first turn? We're about to find out. Nick Cohan gets a good restart. He will at least lead through turns 1 and 2. Jeff Ward, meanwhile, gets a bad restart, while Tim Johnson looks underneath
The 30 to Johnston is going to get P2 here as the 61 slides backward, and now Jeff Ward going to see his hopes start to slide away. He's going to make it 3 wide. The 13 on the bottom, no, he backs out of it. That's because the 82 of Adam Benefield was able to get to his inside and clear him, and now Jeff Ward almost has a pick because he can't get around to 13 and to 61 to get up to the battle for those top 3 spots. But Nick Cohan is going to lead it this time by, and it's still the 30 to Johnson in 2nd. Here comes Benefield on the 4th row tires side by side for 2nd.
Yeah, Benefield gets by Johnston, which he does here. I have a feeling that is game over for Johnston, unless a caution comes out and he gets to restart on the low line, or unless he tries a saver here, but he doesn't have enough momentum to make it work. Nick Cohan, I'm sorry, buddy. I have a feeling if a caution doesn't come out in this turn, it may be game over for you, because here comes Adam Benefield on the low line,
flying.
the desired line. He's got those tyres. He is flying. That number 82 truck is in the lead.
He'll count out that 13 machine here. He moves it up to 3rd. He'll go to the bottom, get to the back bumper of Adam Benefield through 1 and 2. The 21 gave it 1 last shot. Cohan will slide back to 3rd and now maybe even 4th, because here comes the other truck on 4 tires that's been dominant tonight. Jeff Ward going to go side by side for P3. The 13 of Whitson thought about going at it for the lead. Down the back straightaway, the 82 shut the door. That Sunoco Chevrolet championship points leader is going to put up a fight for it here. The 82 throws the block at the stripe.
Yeah, they're using up all the track, and I'll tell you what, as a truck, it's going to be getting very loose. That air taken off a previous spoiler by Gary Whitson. Gary goes high in turns 1 and 2, tries to get a better run coming off the turn. That's Adam Benefield, slides up, almost grazes the wall, but doesn't, and is able to pull away a couple of car lengths. Meanwhile, Jeff Ward not giving up. He is still hanging out in 3rd while the battle's raging on behind him, but we are watching this battle for the lead right now.
And Gary Whitson hurt himself, hard into the outside wall at a corner number 4. The 13 is pretty much going to see his hopes dashed on that, but hurt himself going down to 1. Gave Benefield a shot and it killed his momentum on entry, and Adam Benefield was able to get that lead. Jeff Ward and Benefield, the top 2 drivers that have dominated this race. They have pretty much been the top 2 for the majority of tonight's race. They are now P1 and 2. Can Ward make up the gap this time by? Going to be 5 laps to go, and it is about 3/10 that separate those top 2. It looks like Ward is actually starting to close in on him.
Yeah, Benefield has seemed a bit faster in my opinion throughout the race, but Ward using up all the track, and he's got that slipstream to help him as well. He does not want to let the swing get away from him, and with 5 laps left to go, and there comes the caution. Tim Johnston,
caution,
and he comes down and smashes into Aaron Kleinhans, who blows up. Aaron slides back up the track and hits Ricky Hardin. And,
they're still wrecking.
Tommy Ryan, 4 trucks involved in this total.
Yeah, the 16's going to get a piece of it. Looks like the 98 is going to get a piece of it as well. And that's all she wrote, we believe. That's pretty much going to end this race. The 38 of Tim Johnston, who was working the Two-tire call gets turned in the corner. Once again, it is courtesy of the number 5 machine of Dan Murray. Got a little bit too excited. You can see if we gave slow motion up, they were fine and got back to the gas, just slid up the hill just the slightest bit and assisted that 38 into the fence. And that caution is, I think, is going to save Benefield because Jeff Ward, he was closing in quick, knocking off a 10th a lap. You mentioned he had that slipstream, that draft, and he was going all the way down to the front straightaway grass to try to get everything he could out of it. If we stayed green, Jeff Ward would have had a legitimate shot at taking this one home. But again, I do believe this is going to end the race here under the yellow flag condition.
Yeah, I was about to say before that happened that Dan Winter had also retired from the race, so a few unfortunate ends there. But as we're saying, it's all about the winner here. And right now, it looks like Adam Benefield will win the race, although we've got to clarify that we don't know that for certain, but we will find out within a lap, because as they come across the line next time by, it will be 2 laps left to go, and if a pace car lights stay on, that will be race over.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that any of the drivers are signifying. They would have had to get a 2 to go that time by, so the 1 to go could have been lap 72, would have been a 1-lap shootout for lap 73 in the final lap, but I don't anticipate that to happen. None of the drivers are leading us to think that. They pretty much all said congratulations to Adam Benefield. So Jim Foose, however, he's giving himself a pat on the back. We'll pass the congratulations along. After starting 20th, he's been able to wheel the Bedard Chevrolet to P8 for a finish. So Jim Foose with a solid result right now, but again, unless something tragic happens, and you have said that the iRacing equivalency of a mechanical failure is some sort of connection issue, which we have seen several of tonight, bites Adam Benefield, he's going to put that 82 truck, the Roll Speed Dynamic Chevrolet, back in victory lane.
Yeah, and we'll find out for certain here if a pace car lights stay on as it crosses the line, if the race is over or not. And we don't expect them to turn off, but just in case, we'll keep an eye on Mr. Mustang driver. Here he goes, across the start-finish line at Chicagoland Speedway, and the lights are still on. So yes, unless Adam Benefield has some kind of mechanical failure or runs out of fuel, he will pick off a win tonight. He is not a race driver, so he's just going to stick that feather in his cap and, who knows, maybe try and get a few more wins down the road and challenge for the championship next year.
Yeah, Adam Benefield running part-time on Wednesday nights, but has been able to get some solid results when we've seen him out here, Samuel.
He has, and in my opinion, he was the fastest truck tonight. I know Jeff was running him down at the end there in the short run, but I have a feeling a little bit of determination, slipstreaming, and maybe even Adam getting a bit nervous. The fact that he was getting ran down there was contributing to that a little bit. But I have a feeling in the long run, during the middle of the race, Adam Benefield was quick. He seemed to be pulling away from Jeff Ward a little bit. And at the end of the day, he was able to take the lead. You get in and out of the pits first before Jeff Ward restart. No, actually, did Jeff Ward restart fourth and Adam restarted fifth? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, Jeff was able to beat him out, but what happened was the slow restart for the truck on no tires on the outside of that front row kind of held back that outside lane, and that's how Benefield was able to get side by side with Jeff down into the corner, evidently clear him and get a couple of trucks. Some of the slower trucks kind of got between them at a moment there for about a lap or two off of that restart, which I think benefited Benefield, no pun intended there, at the end to be able to get that gap that he had.
Yeah, so I was completely wrong. I stand by my decision that I think Adam Benefield was fastest here today, but actually losing the race off of pit road is kind of what won Adam Benefield the race there. Now, I want to take a quick look as the field work their way around the final lap here at the chase schedule, because as we say, 1.5 mile D ovals are regular features in oval racing. And let's look, we got Las Vegas in the chase, and we got Texas Motor Speedway in the chase, and Homestead is also kind of a 1.5 mile oval, although it's shaped a little different. So certainly, if you're good at this kind of track, you can perform well in the chase. And Gary Whitson is going to come out the highest of our chase finishers there in third, and Nick Cohan in fourth, as the field are working their way off of turn 4 right now, and Adam Benefiel is about to take a victory.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Las Vegas and Texas are a lot of fun in these trucks, and they're going to be going a lot higher speeds. Those two racetracks have a lot more grip than this one, so look forward to that one. But as you mentioned, at a corner number 4, a congratulatory bumper-to-back bumper of Benefiel from Jeff Ward as he crosses the start finish line. Checkered flags, Adam Benefiel to victory lane, Jeff Ward second, and Gary Whitson get around out the top 3.
And we will have interviews with some of the top finishers when we return. Hello and welcome to Chicagoland Speedway, where we just saw the final race before the chase that was won by Adam Benefiel, who's not a chase driver, but can certainly accredit a win to his name. And right now we're going to go down the race results. So Evan, I'll hand it over to you.
And this race will come home under the caution flag period after what was shaping up to be a great battle between the top two has to simmer down. Adam Benefiel is going to take the win. Jeff Ward comes home in second place. Gary Witz in third. Nick Cohan with a fourth place result on that no tire strategy. Jared Haggerty will walk away with a top 5 result. Dan Murray 6th. Jeffrey Gilliam, the number 61 machine, takes 7th position. Jim Foose up to 8th. Benny Ellison, the 05 machine, is going to come home at 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is Michael Koenig.
Jason Christen scored an 11th place finish with Alex Bates down there in 12th. Tim Knott got 13th, and Scott Johnson, Tim Johnson, who was involved in our last caution, got 14th. Adam Blattel rounds out the top 15. And by the way, 14th on back were lap down. Alex Guys got 16th place, and Sean Music, who had his fair share of action tonight, 17th. David Gibson, 18th place in the number 3 truck. Carson Orbay, the last truck, 1 lap down in 19th. And then we come to the drivers who retired from the race. Tommy Ryan finishing 20th, 3 laps down, Evan.
At 21st, Aaron Kleinhans. 22nd, Ricky Hardin. Dan Winter, after running a solid race early on, comes home 23rd. Jordan Harnish, 24th. Jason Davis, 25th place. Cody Gibson, 26th. Clifford Brooker, the number 25, comes home 27th. 28th is Steve Buhala. And rounding out the field is L. Bryce Whitchin Jr., 29th. Last truck to finish the race. Again, 29 trucks. It was a pretty good field tonight.
Yeah, actually it's saying Bryce Whitson was disqualified. It looks like he went over the incident cap of 12. We do not have our winner, Adam Benefiel, here to interview. I think he is celebrating a little bit too hard. So we will speak with our runner-up finisher, Jeff Ward. And Jeff, I have a feeling you wanted to see it go green to the end.
Yes, sir, Samuel. I would have loved to seen it go green there. I was kind of making some time on Adam there, and just trying to run down on the apron and get everything I could, and at least try to get up there and make it a good finish. And just hated to see it go yellow there.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, you're not one of the chase drivers, but I have a feeling we're going to see you come back again. You certainly, in my mind, had one of the faster trucks tonight. Although, in my opinion, it looked like Benefiel came in on the long run. Do you think you need to work on your short runs a little bit more, or your long runs?
Yeah, Adam was real fast on the short run there, and then it seemed like after about 8, 10, 12 laps, I was able to kind of reel him in a little bit, and then also the draft helped too. So, yeah, got a little work to do. Chicago's it's a tricky track. Your truck gets loose and kind of bobbles around, so we'll work on that, and hopefully next time we can win it there.
Yeah, some very exciting racing at the front. It looks like you got held up a bit under the restart after restarting 4th. That kind of cost you a couple positions there. Do you think you would have had the win had you not had to have restarted on that high line?
It would have been interesting. I mean, we got held up a little bit there, but you can't blame those guys for, taking two tires or no tires and trying to do what they can to try to win the race. It's part of racing. So, yeah, it would have been more interesting. But I'd really like to thank American Sim Racing for putting this on every week. It's been a blast running here, and thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. It's definitely fun to watch. And But yeah, it's interesting out there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you came up a little bit short tonight, Jeff, but we look forward to seeing you back, and maybe you'll be able to finish one spot higher next week.
I hope so. We'll see you guys.
Alright, so that was our second place finisher, Jeff Ward, and now we're going to hand it over to Evan, who has caught up with our 5th place finisher, Jared Haggerty.
Yeah, we've caught up with Jared Haggerty, who's going to come home with a 5th place result. And Jared, you kind of ran your own race, was quiet. You started P12, you were able to come home with a top 5 result. Walk us through the night.
Well, we had a really tough night. I mean, we had the connection issue with my pedals, actually. Sent us all the way back to 28th early in the race. And then from there on, it was pretty much working my way back up through the field, and I'm really, really surprised that we actually were able to get a top 5.
Coming down to the end there, it was getting pretty wild until the caution flag flew with about 4 to go. Obviously, through the attrition that you and your team had tonight, you obviously had a strong truck to be able to make those spots back up. Do you think that if this thing went green all the way, you may have been able to challenge for maybe a top 4, maybe even a top 3 finish?
I probably definitely had something for top 4. Probably not enough for top 3. Those guys were doing really well up there. I'd like to thank all the people from American Sim Racing tonight, though. They put on a great show. This is my first week in this season, so I'm hoping to run well with these guys throughout the rest of the season and look for making the chase next season.
So you're getting it kicked off with your first start at a 1.5. The chase does start coming up here. Obviously, you're not going to be a part of it, but in those set of races, there are a lot of more 1.5 mile speedways. Would you say that maybe those are kind of your favorite, or are you leaning towards the shorter end side, the short tracks?
Well, actually, I'm a super speedway driver mainly. I run here on the iSuper Speedway series that y'all broadcast on Friday nights. But other than that, my favorites are definitely going to be speedways. I love racing the bigger tracks like Charlotte, Atlanta, Las Vegas, all those tracks. But if you're going to come down to it, I have to say speedways are definitely my favorite. Give you a little bit more challenge than a super speedway would.
Well, before we let you go, sponsors and shout-outs, who makes it happen for you and the crew?
I got to give it up to the 105th Squad there, putting their name all over my truck. I got to thank Fan Moguls, thank my family for being so supportive, and got to thank my next sponsor for next week, ECU Pirates, coming home with a victory, hopefully, this weekend against Virginia Tech.
And definitely, Woke, again, congrats on the top 5 finish, and we'll keep an eye out to see where your 57 truck fares here moving forward.
All right, thank you guys, and y'all do a great job broadcasting, and I wish you all the best.
We appreciate the kind words from Jared Haggerty. He's going to come home P5, Samuel.
Yeah, and we've been having a couple of communication issues with our league organizer, Jim Feast, who finished 8th tonight after starting 20th, but I have a feeling they're all solved now. Jim, can you hear me?
I gotcha.
Alright, well, congratulations. I know everyone was racing for the win tonight, but you certainly can't be disappointed with a 12-spot improvement throughout the race.
Man, I'll tell you what, we started this thing. I was not a happy camper. The Menards peak motor oil guys went to work and made this thing better. We tried to save a little bit of fuel, thinking that maybe we could make it on one less stop than everybody there towards the end, if that second to last caution wouldn't have came out. And thought the strategy was going to work in our hands. It almost did, and caution came out. And just overall, really, really happy with everything. They really made this truck really good. We even led a lap tonight, which it's been a while since we've seen the Menards truck up front. So really happy to do that.
All right, Jim, I'm going to give our viewers a quick rundown again of who's in our chase. We got Gary Whitson, Bryce Whitson, Tim Johnston, Jason Kristen, Nick Cohan, Alex Bates, yourself, David Gibson, Aaron Cleanhans, and Dan Winter. Who, in your mind, if you had to narrow it down to 3 or 4 drivers, do you think are going to be the big boys to watch out for this title?
Well, with a couple of them getting hit with the 15-point penalty after next week's race for missing a race, that's going to take a few of them back a little bit and kind of set them back. I would say Nick would probably have been one of my top picks. Gary's going to be hard to beat. He won it last year. Probably with the way the points are going to fall and everything, I think he's obviously in the best spot right now with those 15-point penalties coming to those guys that missed the race. I would say, it's Gary. Bryce is right there, and I just found out I'm seated 3rd. So when it all shakes out, so that's pretty exciting.
Certainly is, and we're looking very forward to this chase, and 10 great names up there, so it should be very exciting.
Yeah, we actually are going to make it easy on you guys. Well, not easy. but we'll make it as easy as we can. We're making the chase drivers throw a yellow splitter, yellow spoiler, and yellow down bars on the back of the roll cage. So be a little bit easier to spot the chase drivers. Of course, on my truck with the Menards yellow, it'd be real hard to. Not much of a difference, but it will be a different shade of yellow on our truck. Actually, we run a black spoiler every week, so be a little different next week.
Okay, well, thank you for coming to talk to us, Jim, and good luck in the race. Alright, and it looks like our winner has done all of his celebrating, and Evan has caught up with him in Victory Lane. Evan.
Yeah, Adam Benefiel, fashionably late after going to Victory Lane. He'll come down here and walk away with the checkered flag. Adam, this seems to be a recurring thing. You're going to get it done on Wednesday nights. How'd you get that job done, and how are those final laps?
Insane. Man, I really don't think that I should have won the race. I think Jeff Ward had it covered. He was just extremely fast. I just got fortunate with the yellow flag there at the end. But that's really, I just got lucky tonight.
Walk us through that final restart there where you were actually restarting P5. He was P4, but the outside lane did not get going as well, and you were able to get to his inside, and it put a couple of trucks between you and him to give you a little bit of a buffer. Was that the key to holding him off?
Yeah, I think so. Once I realized where he was going to line up and I was going to line up, I knew that I was going to have to go off the start and get by him off the start. And I figured, I know the Tim, he had 2 tires, and then there was 2 trucks that had that didn't pit at all. So I figured, it was going to be a little hard getting past Tim, but the other 2 shouldn't have been a problem. But my goal was to try to get to the lead as quick as I can and put as much distance as between myself and second before he got to second. And unfortunately, I was fighting a 4-wheel slide coming up off both ends, so I wasn't able to get a real big gap, but I guess it was just my lucky night.
You say that you felt that Jeff Ward was faster, and running a fixed setup, you did have the fastest lap of the night, only person to get a 31.8 in race trim, but I mean, the draft's so key, that slipstream there that you could utilize down the back straightaway. Where do you think, as you said, that you felt Jeff was a little bit faster than you, where do you think that he might have been a little bit better, and where did you think that you had an upper edge on him as well?
He would drive it in deeper than me. I don't like to charge the corner. I kind of back it up so I can get on quicker. And I think that's why it was hurting me coming off. I felt like he had the upper advantage coming off, but there was a couple of times right there through the race that I about slap ran over him into the center of the corner. I was getting through the center really well, but coming off, which is really the money spot, he had the upper hand on me.
Well, you're able to get the job done. You are the first to cross the start-finish line when it's all said and done. You go to Victory Lane. Sponsors, shout-outs, who makes it happen for you and the crew?
Yeah, just, Roll Speed Dynamics. They've been with me since day one. My wonderful wife, which we just found out today that we thought was having a baby, but we're having twins. So I appreciate her letting me come in here and do this. And, just all my guys that back me up. Dan Murray and Cadell, everybody, my friends at Steel Horse, and then my new team. I just joined David Cater and the crew, all of them.
Well, congratulations on the news, congratulations on the win, and good luck moving forward. We'll expect to see you running strong and possibly in Victory Lane here in the future.
Thank you.
That is Adam Benefiel. Samuel, he's going to go to Victory Lane and take home the checkers when it's all said and done.
Yes, and I guess I've got to apologize to Jeff Ward, because I was saying all night that, to me, he looked faster, but you just heard it from the drivers yourself. Adam Benefiel and Jeff Ward both saying that Jeff Ward was faster. I'm sorry, and I've been saying all night that Adam was faster. But the drivers who were actually in the heat of a battle shooting me down there, so we'll listen to them instead. Anyhow, we got a few people we'd like to thank for putting on this broadcast. we would like to thank our 8th place finisher in the Menard Chevrolet, Jim Foose, and the organisers of this league for putting this on. We would also like to thank the makers of the various software and hardware that help to make this stream possible: iRacing.com, XSplit, Audio Technica, and Ava Media. Thanks to the team today, Kevin and Evan. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and race highlights. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. A big thanks to Dougie Beard for creating the camera sets that you saw during the stream, and a special thank you to Eric Ekholm, who provides us with much of our music. You can find it not only here on GSRC, but in TV commercials, movie trailers, iTunes and Spotify. If you like the music, tell Eric where you heard it at ericekholm.com. Our next race in the series will be the first chase race, just 1 week away at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That will be 9 PM Eastern Time on Wednesday, September 17th. And then we also have the iSuper Speedway Series back in action this Friday at 10 PM Eastern Time in the Gen 6 cars at Daytona International Speedway. Saturday we have the MX-5 World Tour racing at Silverstone Southern configuration at 2 PM Eastern Time, and on Sunday we have the Virtual Sim Racing Association racing their Rileys at Barber Motorsports Park at 9 PM Eastern Time. In the future, a bit down the road, we also have the CESCS racing at Road America on Saturday, October 4th, and on Sunday, October 5th, I believe, we have the Northwest Majors doing their Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta. They have all of the GT cars in that race. That includes the BMW Z4, the Roof Track, the McLaren MP4, and the Ford GT, so you're not going to want to miss that. Until then, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.